and possibilities of new media on the Muslim Ummah.
And we'll split it into three themes, which are the moral, spiritual, and
Social aspect. So, a slight overview.
should we introduce ourselves? Who's who? I'm Afif.
I'm Laili.
And I'm Yasmin. I'll be covering on the moral aspect.
I'll be covering on the social aspect.
Now we're covering on the spiritual aspect.
Actually, what's in here?
So, a brief overview of what we're going to present is basically we're going to start with risk of new media on Muslim Ummah, and then cover on the three aspects, which is spiritually, morally, and socially, and then we'll move on to the possibilities of new media on Muslim Ummah, and then cover on the three aspects.
Three themes again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And discussion and conclusion. So, first, it's risk of new media on Muslim Ummah. So, like I said before, we're gonna split it into three, which is spiritual, moral, and socially. So the first one is spiritually. So the risk of new media on Muslim Ummah is that it exposes the Muslim Ummah to harmful content that will decrease their Islamic faith. So an example for this is harmful ideologies. Go even further for that is like basically I divided it into three, which is divine sex, fabrication of evidences, and secularism. So yeah, the fact that new media is it allows a wider audiences to get access to a wide variety of information is already troublesome and dangerous as it is, especially like for newly converted Muslims who don't have the support. They want to search up information on the internet, but they don't know where to search it from. They might come across this deviant ideologies and adopt that ideologies, or even worse, abandon Islam after that. So just like in brief, the deviant sects, there's the four foundations for the innovations as mentioned in Hadith. As mentioned in Ibn Battah, that the foundations of innovation are four: the Rawafid, the Khawarij, and the Kulliyyah, and the Murji'ah. The first is Khawarij, as this is mentioned in Prophet's Hadith, where he said that there will be people in the Ummah who will recite the Quran but will not go beyond their throats, and they pass clean through their religion just as the arrow pass through their prey. Yeah, this is Khawarij is basically referring to those who believe that it's permissible to revolt against the leaders with revolutions and rebellions, like as we can see now, the ISIS group and the Al-Qaeda and all the extremist groups in the news nowadays. Also, when they believe that declaring a Muslim to be a disbeliever, they remain in hell forever on account of a major sin. We can't decide a Muslim that they're a disbeliever just because we said it, because their faith is inside and it's between them and Allah. So yeah, the Khawarij is basically first appeared during the Caliphate of Ali, when during one of the battles, a group of them separated from the battle, and after they announced that Ali was a disbeliever because he did a negotiation with one of the person to stop the battle. So next is Shia. As we all know, the Shia people base their ideology for their love of Ali, the companion Ali, and yeah, they basically disregard anyone else besides Ali radiallahu anhu, and they claim that the Quran is incomplete and they have their own Quran. That in itself is really problematic. So yeah. The third one is the Qadariyah, which is when someone believes that Allah's prior knowledge of events doesn't exist, so they reject that ideology, and they claim that this Muslim servant is the one who brings about his own action independently. So they don't believe in qada and qadar, basically, right? Yeah. So basically, the next fourth one is the Murji'ah, and their belief it covers rejection of Allah's prior knowledge of events. Oh, it's the same thing. Oh, Murji'ah. Those who believe that Iman is only inside and does not show outside. So you can act however you want outside, but all that matters is inside your faith. So these four main foundations of the innovation are dangerous, especially the Shiite group. They are very active in giving da'wah about their ideology. So when people who don't know or don't know how to confirm use internet, the new media for their source of information, it's easy to be led astray. Yeah. So second point under the risk of new media for the spiritual aspect is fabrication of evidence and information. Basically, what it means is that, like, new media, it can be accessed by everyone, and it's for everyone. So you can create content that by just saying that it's from this source of evidence, but it might not be true, and people just seeing that citation can easily believe it. So it's easy to deceive the audience in that aspect. So I mean, there's so many, like, even in social media, like sending news information, like stories and stuff, and people easily believe it because it's in the media, in their social media. So yeah, that's one danger. Anything that has been portrayed in new media, people can easily believe it. So the next risk under spiritual aspect is secularism and conformity. The secularism ideology is basically when you reject religion to be applied in the modern world, right? In the daily life. So this is related to conformity, because when we see the majority act a certain way, we want to follow them. Like for now, we see it in social media, a lot of Muslims conforming to the movements and like LGBT movement and all those feminist movement that is very extreme in the ideology that would somehow go against our basic religion ideology in Islam. So yeah, basically, because new media is, like I said, it impacts because it reaches out a large audience. So when a large audience receive news like this, and people hop on the movement, everyone's doing it. The fact that you're not doing it makes you weird, and like you're not supporting, and you have inhumane feelings. So you try to conform to them so you won't be the odd one out, and that in itself, unconsciously shapes your ideology in a dangerous way that will make you question your own religious belief. Yeah. So moving on to morality.
Next one is the moral aspect of the risks of new media on the moral aspect. First, I want to define what is morality. Morality is actually the principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong, or good and bad behavior. So it's a bit similar to what we have today, like how there's a law, there's law, and then moral, Islamic morals and all that stuff. So when it comes to the moral aspect, exposure to harmful content can corrupt behavior, or in other words, harmful entertainment can corrupt behavior. So the first one I want to talk about is addiction. Addiction is the main thing when it comes to entertainment, because when you enjoy something, you tend to do it excessively. But that is, like, for example, entertainment. Like, for example, you just watch television. That's just considered a normal kind of entertainment. But this kind of addiction is very dangerous because it harms your moral aspect of your life. Like, for example, if you have addiction, I'm going to be mentioning about addiction to pornography and addiction to violent video games. So when it comes to pornography, in the late 1980s, there were back then the internet wasn't really that widespread, and media doesn't really have that much of an influence in the late 1980s, and not many people had access to pornography, because pornography is usually disseminated through CDs, maybe something that is transmitted through physical thing. But when it comes to now the new media, something that is you can easily just search with a click of the mouse is dangerous, because not only that, the scope of the audience has expanded, because when it comes to new media, anyone has access to it, which is dangerous, because even kids, teenagers, adults and the like are using them because it's easy to use. If it's easy to use, that means it's easy to access. So to some, unfortunately, pornography is considered as an entertainment, and undeniably heavy consumption, which means heavy, that you watch it too many times, will have clear consequences, especially for those already inclined towards compulsive sexual behavior. Alhamdulillah, we are Muslims. We know the ruling when it comes to unwanted sexual behavior or anything, because it's haram, and the only way for it to be halal is through marriage. But when it comes to other people, they don't have that barrier, they don't have the religion, they just do it with whoever and whenever. But even so, since it's something that is disseminated in the new media, you can easily access it whether you like it or not, because sometimes, for example, pop-up ads and all that stuff, they will tend to suddenly appear in front of you without you even wanting to see it, but it's there, and viewers, let's say if the viewers if they were to watch pornography, they will tend to develop behavioral traits like the porn actors who are, sex maniac, because their job is based on doing that thing. And unfortunately, the reason why I say the grass is always greener on the other side is because when you are not allowed to do something, you tend to be like questioning why and all that stuff, and since everyone else is doing, why can't I do it? Because usually something you don't have, you will find it something you want to do because you don't have it yet. You usually, because shaitan whisperings, they will tell you to do things that everyone is doing. Like you're strange if you don't, like what I mentioned, you are strange if you don't do it, kind of thing. So yeah, unfortunately, pornography affects your moral behavior because you'll tend to, you know, be more. How do you say this?
What is that?
What do you want?
I mean, even the Muslims say no, it's prohibited. Just one glimpse, they'll be curious, and they want to satisfy that curiosity. They will.
Yeah, because as in the English proverb says, curiosity kills a cat. Even though even though you'll be like, oh, it's only one, like I'll be watching it only one time, but you don't guarantee that one time because from once you start looking at it, you will tend to be addicted, tend to be like, oh, it's something interesting and all that stuff, and hence you'll be addicted, and addiction is very bad, especially when it comes to pornography, because it will reflect your behavior too, whether you realize it or not. So next is in Al-Quran, Surah An-Nur, ayat 30, Allah has said that, tell the believing men to lower their gaze from looking at forbidden things and protect their private parts from illegal sexual acts that is purer for them. There's always a reason why Allah has said this, because Allah wants to protect us, and if we Allah wants to protect us and protect our values. So if we fall into this trap, shaitan's trap, we will not be protected, and our moral values will change, and it will affect everyone around us. Not just you, you will affect the society too when it comes to your moral behavior. So next is the violent video games. Everyone plays video games, you know, even me. I play video games, but because come on, more than 2 billion people play video games globally, and including 150 million in the United States. Online video game addiction statistics show that anywhere from 1% to 10% of gamers have compulsive addiction issues. Popular games, there were quite a few lists of popular games, but the one I want to highlight is the violent video game, which is Fortnite, which is an individual shooter game. More than 200 million players play the game. And League of Legends, although it's not really a shooting game, their goal is to destroy things. So the end goal is always something or someone's property is getting destroyed or whatever. And lastly is Call of Duty, which is also another first-person shooting game. So in reality, you don't see people shooting. Like for example in Malaysia, you don't see people having a gun and simply shooting everyone, right? Because it's not considered allowed. It's against the law. So hence they resort to gaming, so that they have that kind of like pleasure where they kill persons and they will win in that kind of game style. Unfortunately, of course, when you're addicted to video games, you will have like sleep disruption habits, sleepiness, insomnia, and many other harmful effects. Also including poor socialization skills. When you're addicted to games, you will have a difficulty socializing with people, and then you will have impairment of academic and career success, and as well as financial success, because once you're addicted to it, you'll be pouring everything, all your effort into gaming, and you won't care about anything else, because that gaming world is your world. And when it comes to violent video games, unfortunately, whatever you play on the game, it will affect you morally, whether you realize it or not, because you'll tend to be like, you will somehow develop violent tendencies among, because in that game there will be a lot of like cursing here and there because you didn't get to kill the person and all that stuff. And it's unfortunate because, let's say for example in the United States, the possession of guns are allowed, and imagine you hear a lot of news that says that someone just died just getting shot by someone, kind of thing. It's like, it's kind of sad because what is the reason they do that, you know? And it's kind of, whether we realize it or not, it does have an effect on your moral behavior, whether you realize it or not. So yeah. So in Sahih Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ said that the religion of Islam is easy, and whoever makes the religion a rigor, it will overpower him. So follow a middle course in worship. If you can't do this, do something near to it and give glad tidings and seek help of Allah at morning and at dusk and some part of the night. Even though it says here the middle course in worship, it actually means in your daily lives as well. You need to have moderation in whatever you do. I mean, you can play games, but you should not fall into the trap of addiction. Next is I want to highlight on the social media harms on the social development of children. So yeah, I'll just briefly go through it. Like, you know how media is have a big influence, and even children use it. And some bad parts of the media will twist their views on certain things like moral values and changing what they believe in. Unfortunately, in today's media, they teach you how to judge yourself and others that will affect you emotionally, mentally, and physically. So when it comes to, cyberbullying, it means that it's the use of technology to harass, threaten, or embarrass a person online. And about 52% of the students have been cyberbullied. Why do they do cyberbullying? Because apparently 81% of the teenagers say that bullying online is easy to get away with. And about 4,500 teens commit suicide per year, and suicide is considered the third leading cause of death for the teenagers. So imagine in that society where your moral values are kind of twisted and you think it's easy, it's accepted, and it's okay to bully people even though they did nothing wrong. You just want to bully people for the sake of it, and due to that little act of bullying you think it's okay, and you think because you can easily get away with it, you will lead someone into doing suicide, which is sad, because why would you do something that will take someone's life, you know? So, and as in Bukhari Muslim, when it comes to suicide, our ruling is that in Islam, whoever throws himself down from a mountain and kills himself will be throwing himself down in the fire of hell forever and ever. Whoever drinks poison and kills himself will be sitting in the fire of hell forever and ever. Whoever kills himself with a piece of iron will have the iron in his hand, trusting it into his belly in the fire of hell forever and ever. Besides that, the idea is that suicide is not an option for us Muslims. It's haram. We shouldn't be doing it. We should just, even if we have the tendencies to, we should pray to God and ask for His help. So when it comes to cyberbullying and all the media that has been portrayed in the social media, media tend to focus on the flaws of people in our society. There will be like stereotypes where a beauty standard should be this way. For girls, it'd be like you have to be sexy, and then for guys, you need to have like six-pack abs and all, whatever. So unfortunately, not everyone is born the same way. Everyone is born differently. So if you were to always be looking at the whatever media portray that you should be that person, you will tend to hate yourself because you'll be asking to God like, why am I born this way? Why can't I be born like the ones in the social media and all that stuff? Which is bad because morally you shouldn't be disliking yourself because Allah has created you and you should be grateful to Allah that you are living and Allah has created you. So in Surah Al-Furqan, he mentioned that he has created everything and measured it exactly according to its due measurements. Because as a Muslim, there's 5 pillars.
Oh, what?
6 pillars of Islam, right? 5. The other one, believing in Qadar.
6 pillars.
Of Iman. 6 pillars of Iman says that if you're a Muslim, you should be believing in the Qadar and Qadar of Allah. You shouldn't be questioning whatever you are not satisfied with, because that is the trap of shaitan. They wouldn't want you to be grateful to God.
It's just start flying my eye.
Anyway, next one is idealism. Next one is idealism.
I'm spending too much time
Some teenagers today tend to spend more time idolizing artists like K-pop and all that stuff, and they focus more on that and
They devote their whole time to that.
they devote their time so much that sometimes they will forget about God, which is, I mean, your purpose in life is to worship Allah, right? And you shouldn't be doing unnecessary things that will somehow eventually make you forget about Allah. And as mentioned before, you need to do things in moderation.
Okay, that was a long explanation, but it's great. Thank you very much. And I will now be talking about the social aspect when it comes to the risk of newbie Ummah. Although moral and spiritual also somehow kind of overlaps. Sometimes social, I will just go on and explain it from my own perspective. So social aspect we most solely focused on basically the companions and interactions. So basically the environment that you are putting yourself in, the social media or the new media, so that you are interconnected with everyone on a global scale. And the global scale, the people around the new media tend to have certain behaviors or certain elements that they, are externally they will expose it to you, and you are using new media, you are somehow unconsciously affected by them. These people around, these people who are also using social media. And see the next slide. So one of the examples that when you are, let's say for example, you are on Instagram or Facebook, you tend to see your friends or the public people or the famous people's lives, and then you start to kind of like start to compare with your own lives, and you will eventually develop feelings of dissatisfaction with your life. This kind of like creates a sense of ungratefulness, which is not a good quality that Muslims should have. And if on a small scale, it's still fine, but if you keep seeing every day, every day, then you tend to develop dissatisfaction, and you tend to blame God for everything that's happened to you. When in actual fact, like Yasmin said, the grass is always greener on the other side. You don't know what's actually going on with that person's lives. It might look nice on media, but in actual fact, they're not really enjoying their life much. And also, Katz 2007 states that the Jewish Orthodox or the conservative Jewish people, we believe that they will be affected by the external influence of new media. This is relevant because they are also, in the sense that we Muslims are also conservative, and we as well, most conservative people, that's it, in actual fact, I can just say that most conservative people, religious people, do not have a favorable view or opinion on new media, and they tend not to use it. And so this is kind of like creates an atmosphere or a vacuum of social morality, where all the good people, all the religious people are not using social media, and only the bad people and the people who are, using the media are basically not good people. Next slide, and we will look at the problems on a more specific. Basically, the problem is that this overexposure to shamelessness and desensitizing of haya. Haya in Arabic means shyness or modesty, and the problem is mostly associated with the youth. And so basically, why should we solve this problem? Well, we want to bring the youth back to the modesty of Islam, because modesty is good. The Prophet said that one of the best of you are those with the best character, and to have modesty is part of good character. And how will I know this problem is solved? Well, when the social ills such as the baby dumping and LGBT or reduce our lessons. So basically, it may not be the direct reason for all the social ills, but exposure to shamelessness and the reduction of haya could be one of the factors contributing to the social ills that are such as dumping and gay and transgender. And this is how the Prophet has said, right? If you feel no shame, then do as you wish. So basically, mostly we should not lose our shame. If we have shame, inshallah, we will have control of ourselves. I think that's it, and we will move on to these possibilities